fiery horse with the speed of light, a cloud of dust, and a hearty hi-yo silver, the Lone Ranger. The wild and untamed West of yesteryear, with all of its stirring action, is brought back to us in a vivid word picture as the phantom figure of the plains rides on another exciting adventure. Listen to those silver-shod hoofs racing down the trails of old. The Lone Ranger rides again.
Come on, Silver, old boy. We have a big job to do. God is waiting for us somewhere ahead. Hi-yo, Silver! Away!
Jim Burton had made himself absolute master of a large district in the Southwest. All who lived in that territory were forced to pay him tribute or suffer the consequences. His men, outlaws and hired gunmen, openly punished those who refused to pay. Homes were stripped, buildings burned, cattle stolen or poisoned. Men who stubbornly defied Burton were murdered. The gang had become so powerful that the law was helpless. In the first scene of tonight's story, we see Burton and his lieutenant, Bat Jordan, riding to the home of a rancher named Tyler.
How much do old man Tyler owe us? Tyler? Now, let me look at the book here. Just a second, Burton. Well, don't be all day finding it. Yeah, here it is. He ain't paid for last month yet. Oh, he ain't, huh? Well, I'll have to teach him a lesson. That's his prize bull over yonder, ain't it? Yeah. All right. That got him.
Hey, what? Stop it! Burton, look at what you done.
Ain't that a downright shame? I ran over here to have a talk with you, Tyler.
Why, you...
Just an accident, that's all. I'm mighty sorry. I was just looking at my gun and went off and got that bull.
Accident, my eye.
Accidents do happen, Tyler. Yep, that's why it's smart to keep signed up with my company. Now, if only you'd paid up your fee last month, I'd have stood the loss of that bull.
And because I didn't pay you shot the critter.
I wouldn't be so quick to say things like that, Tyler. Especially when they can't be proved in court.
Court? Everyone's afraid of you. You run the court the same as you run the sheriff and everything else in this part of the country.
You'd be smart to pay up your dues and button up your lip, Tyler. You know, I think that just the fact that a man has signed up with me is enough to keep thieves and troublemakers away. Now, look at how all my clients have been let alone. And look at how thieves have troubled them that ain't been registered with me.
I know. When Bob Frisbee refused to pay you, he lost 100 head of cattle from Poison Pool. Then when he still held out, his house catch fire.
Bad accident. I was sorry to see Bob wiped out like that.
Yes, you was.
Then there was Hank Fenton. My, but he had a streak of tough luck. Remember, Jordan, how them prowling thieves kept busting in his house and taking things? Yeah, he done well to sign up with us. His house is likely to catch fire easy. Yeah. Well, enough of that. Mr. Tyler, you owe just $50. That'll bring your payments right up to date.
I ain't got no $50.
No? Seems to me you sold some cattle last month. Ain't you been paid for it?
I sent the cash to my niece at Red Bluff.
That's bad. That's mighty bad. You should have thought of your own protection.
Look here, Burton. I ain't a man to ask favors, but I've got to. My niece Betsy lost her paw, and she's coming here to live with me.
So you sent her all your money, huh?
Her paw had some debts that she wanted to clean up before she left there. Now, look here, Burton. Just leave me alone, and I'll pay you. I'll pay up in time if you just let me be.
Tyler, I wouldn't do anything to you. You seem to think that I'm behind all the trouble around here.
You ain't fooling me, Burton. Everyone knows about your gang and how you tell them to go to work on anyone that won't pay you.
When do you look for this niece of yours to get here?
As soon as you can. Might be tomorrow, or next week, or next month.
Well, we'll be on the way. I sure hope you'll be able to pay up what you owe, Tyler. Been quite a long dry spell. There ain't no telling when a man's house might catch fire.
Yep.
Come on, gentlemen. We'll go call on Mrs. Simmons. She's behind in the payments, too. Yeah, come on.
Get up here.
Get up here.
Tad rabbit. That poor bull. He ain't dead. I gotta take care of him. I'll go get my gun.
Wait, Tyler.
Move
Hold
back
Silver.
Oh. Here, 2 shots.
Yes. If there's a third. 3 shots, Tonto. That's always a danger sign. That's right. No man fires 3 shots spaced like that unless he wants help and wants it bad.
Shot come from that way.
Come on, Silver.
Get him up,
Hi-yo,
Tyler. Get him up.
The Lone Ranger and his faithful Indian companion Tonto were riding along the trail when they heard the 3 shots. Throughout the West, 3 spaced shots were known as the signal of distress. The masked rider lost no time answering what he believed to be a call for help, and soon he and Tonto pulled their horses to a stop alongside of old Tyler, who stood beside the dead bull.
What's the trouble here?
Trouble? Plenty trouble. But you're talking to the wrong man, stranger.
How's that?
I reckon you're looking for the boss of all the outlaws, Jim Burton. Well, he went to see poor old widow Simmons. Reckon he'll be drilling her cattle about now.
Didn't you fire 3 shots for help?
Huh?
I'm no outlaw. Came here because I heard 3 space shots.
Oh, land sakes, I never thought of that. Gosh, stranger, I didn't mean to signal for help, even though the good Lord knows I need it plenty bad. I fired them shots to put this bull out in his suffering. Jim Burton purposely shot this critter just because I ain't paid him for protection.
I see. Jim Burton, huh?
Yeah.
We hear a story about him. Yes. I didn't think there could be any truth in those stories.
Stranger, ain't none of my affair, and a smart man don't ask too many questions. But why are you wearing that mask around here?
I want you to tell me more about Jim Burton.
Well, if you ride hard for the first White House you come to heading that way, you'll likely catch him talking to widow Simmons.
Very well.
If she don't tell you all you want to know about Jim Burton, just come on back here, and I'll tell her plenty.
Come on, Silver.
And there ain't nothing that crook won't stoop to, stranger. I had to give him a last penny, or the chances are my house would have catch fire tonight.
Doesn't the sheriff do anything to stop that sort of thing?
The sheriff, he can't do anything. No one can ever prove that Burton's the one that does all these things. Not even the United States Marshal can do anything about it.
Why don't all of you band together and refuse to pay him?
There ain't no one with spunk enough to even speak again him, except an old man Tyler and me. I tell you, stranger, just to tell everyone I get the chance to tell. Jim Burton's the orneriest skunk that ever breathed. You go ask Tyler to tell you a few things that he's done.
I'm going to.
The Lone Ranger gathered all the information he could find concerning Jim Burton and his men. Among other things, he learned that many members of the gang were wanted by the law in other sections of the country. This knowledge suggested a way to break Burton's power. In town the next day, the men were gathered in the cafe. The masked man suddenly appeared in the doorway, his 2 heavy 6-guns covering every person in the room.
Hold it! Every one of you stand still.
It's a stick-up.
It's no robbery. The man I want is Scar Lewis.
Hold on there, mister.
Grab him. Take his mask off. Don't fight. I'll show you. my hand. Leave your guns alone. Come on, Lewis. You're wanted for murder and Pecos.
Burton, you ain't gonna let him get me.
Burton, there's nothing to say. Come on.
No, let me go. Let me go.
I'm covering the rest of you with one gun. Stay where you are. I'll be back, Burton, for some more of the crooks that you're shielding in this town.
Now, let me go. Jim, come on. Help me. Help me.
During the next 3 days, the townspeople talked of nothing but the daring action of the masked man. We hear Burton and Jordan, with 2 of their men, discussing the matter on the porch of the general store.
He must have taken Scar all the way to Pecos. I reckon he must have. Just who's he think he is, Burton? He ain't no right to drag a man across the county line that way.
Wearing a mask, too.
If he comes back here, Butch, you better duck for cover. You're wanted in Red Bluff.
That's where he's going.
Huh?
What? Why, you?
He come from the side of the building.
You won't get me.
Burton, keep back. You too, Jordan.
See here, stranger.
Hey, Silver. They say you're pretty slippery, Butch. I'll put a rope on you.
Stop him, Burton. Jordan, stop him.
There's more of your gang that I want, Burton. I'll be back.
Let me down. You can't let me on your horse like this.
You're going to Red Bluff, Butch. Yep. Hi-yo, shield!
Jordan, come here. Come on,
Within the next 2 weeks, the Lone Ranger struck at Burton's gang 4 more times. He appeared when least expected, forced an outlaw to go with him, and made his escape before his surprised victims could defend themselves. In all, he had taken 6 of Burton's men, and the gang leader was furious. We see Burton with Jordan, considering a method to get rid of the Lone Ranger.
If that man is the Lone Ranger, he wouldn't touch you unless he had proof of something against you.
I don't know about that.
Maybe we've seen the last of him.
I hope not. Jordan, I ain't going to rest till I see that man shot, unmasked, and planted 6 foot deep.
As for me, I'm willing to let well enough alone.
Well, I ain't. I'll get him, Jordan, if it's the last thing I do.
Mr. Burton.
Huh? Oh, it's you, huh, Tyler? You're about due to pay me some money.
I know.
Did you bring it with you?
I ain't no money.
Well, I ain't waiting no longer.
Now, Mr. Burton.
You pay up or there might be some accidents happen on the trail to Red Bluff. An accident that might affect this niece you're expecting.
Wait. Won't you listen to me?
Money talk's the only language I care to listen to.
There's something we'll talk louder.
What?
Look, you'd like to get this Lone Ranger, wouldn't you?
I'd give up plenty to get him.
Well, if I showed you where you could trap him, would you call what I owe you square and give me your protection for a few more months?
For the rest of your life? That's what it means to me to get that masked man. He's made things too darn tough around here.
You know where he's at?
Well, do you?
Yeah. I think I can find him.
Sit down there, Tyler.
Oh, thanks. I don't mind if I do.
Where's the Lone Ranger?
I ain't saying I know where he is.
You don't know?
Why, you old four-flusher, you?
Wait. I know where he will be. Ain't that something?
Where?
Come on, speak up. Where?
Now, let me tell it my own way. I got a scheme all worked out so you can get him.
Let's hear.
You promised me that you won't make me no trouble.
I told you I wouldn't.
And you won't make no trouble for my niece Betsy?
No, of course not.
All right, then it's a deal. Listen close, gents, and I'll tell you how to get the Lone Ranger.
The curtain falls on the first act of tonight's thrilling Lone Ranger drama. For the next exciting scenes, please permit us to pause for just a few moments. Now to continue our story. You will recall that in the first act of tonight's drama, the Lone Ranger learned of Burton's crooked activities. And in a series of daring raids, the masked man carried off those of Burton's men, known to be outlaws. In the meantime, Burton tried desperately to defend himself against the Lone Ranger's attacks. Let us pick up the threads of our narrative as Tyler completes the outline of his plan.
Now, let me get this straight, Tyler. You're to show me where to get this Lone Ranger. In exchange for that, I'll see that you're protected from trouble of all sorts.
It's a deal, then.
You don't know when this niece of yours is coming, do you?
No. She ought to be getting here soon, though. She was only going to stay in Red Bluff till she paid up her pa's debts, then take her horse and ride down here.
Maybe if she's good looking, I might take her to a couple parties.
Now, hold on. One other thing I want in that agreement, Burton.
Well?
Jordan or none of the rest of your bunch are to come annoying Betsy.
Oh, now, Tyler. All right, I'll see they don't. You hear that, Jordan? Yeah, I hear it. Now, suppose you tell us how you aim to get this Lone Ranger while we can get at him.
Well, there's an Indian friend of his.
I heard about him. His name's Tonto.
That's right.
What's Tonto got to do with it?
I know where to capture the Indian.
Yeah?
You see, him and the Lone Ranger have been friendly with me. The Indian has been to my place several times already, and he'll be back again.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if you was to capture Tonto, the Lone Ranger would blame seem to know about it.
Yeah, I suppose he would.
All right. Then what'll he do?
Come riding like lightning with a couple of guns blazing?
You needn't fear about being shot. The Lone Ranger never shoots to kill. He'll come in fighting fair.
What about it?
When he comes along the trail where you men are holding Tonto, making out to torture him so's he'll tell where the masked man is, he'll hit a pitfall.
Pitfall?
Sure. You boys dig a deep hole in the ground, then cover it with branches and things so he won't see it. He drops to the bottom of it, and that finishes it.
By thunder, Tyler, you got an idea there. Why don't we just blaze at him with our guns?
I'll tell you why, Jordan. You ought to know already. You tried to shoot him once before, and one of them silver bullets blasted your 6-gun out in your hand.
And blame near broke my hand.
Of course.
If he sees any of us drawing a gun, why...
He'd let you have it.
That's right, Jordan. Tyler's right.
You wouldn't have a Chinaman's chance of getting him.
Just don't pay no attention to him, and let him come at us and drop into the pit. How do we know he'd get killed?
What if he was to capture a few rattlers and put them in the pit?
Rattlers?
Sure.
When he falls in the pit, they'd finish him.
Sure they would. What's more, I'll provide them.
Can you get him?
Sure I can get them.
Tyler, it seems to me that you're doing a lot to get the man that's sort of worked in your behalf. How come?
I'd do anything to make my home safe for my niece Betsy when she gets here.
Yeah, I see. We'll follow out that scheme. Jordan, get the boys together. We'll dig the pit, and then we'll leave it up to Tyler to lead us to capturing that Injun Tonto.
The Lone Ranger had captured all of Burton's men who had criminal records, but Burton himself was still free. Our next scene opens in the masked man's hidden camp. He and Tonto are speaking of the gang leader.
We can't put another one of them in jail, Tonto. The rest have no crimes chalked against them.
That bad.
And even if they had, the one man we must get is Jim Burton.
That right.
None of the others count. We can replace them as fast as we can capture them. Burton is the man who must be jailed.
What jail him for?
That's the problem. There's not a thing that can be proved against him.
You know sheriff here?
I've talked to the sheriff. He's honest, and he'd like to see Jim Burton's power broken just as much as we would. But his hands are tied.
Oh. Here, white feller.
You're leaving now?
Time Tonto go see old man.
Very well.
Maybe someday we get Burton feller.
Here's hoping, Kimosabe.
See you by and by.
Yes, Tonto.
Get him up, white feller.
Tonto, riding to Tyler's home, entered the trap set by Burton. The faithful Indian drew his horse to a stop before the ranch house, prepared to dismount, and was immediately surrounded by the outlaws, who advanced upon him with drawn guns.
All right, Injun, just be quiet.
Oh, what's this?
Place your hands there, Redskin. You're captured.
You got him.
Make a move and we shoot.
Watch him.
We're watching him.
Rope him tight.
You double-crossed
I'm sorry, Injun, but I had to do it.
Pull those ropes tight. You won't get loose. You double-crossed.
It was you or me, Injun.
No, Redskin. It's you or the Lone Ranger. Yeah, you got just one chance to save your neck.
What you mean?
Tell us where to find the Lone Ranger, and we let you go free.
Not Tyler, feller. Him double-crossed. It was you or me.
You better do the same thing and lead us to the Lone Ranger if you know what's good for you.
Me not double-cross.
Oh. So you figure you won't tell us, huh?
Not right.
We got ways of making any man talk.
Tonto not talk.
We'll see about that.
Take him to the post, boys.
Yeah. Here's where we see just how much pain an Injun can stand.
Keep a close watch on him. Don't give him a chance to get free.
Jordan, you ride ahead with Tonto and them others. Me and Tyler will follow you.
Come on. Come on. Get up. Get up. Get up. Come on. Get up.
Well. Tyler, it was easier than I figured.
Yeah.
He didn't put up no fight at all.
No, he seen there wasn't no use against such odds.
I wonder if the Lone Ranger will come after him.
I'm betting on it. Just look at the ground around here, how it's trampled. The Lone Ranger will see the Tonto don't get back to the camp, then he'll come, see the signs, and follow the trail.
I hope so.
All you have to do is keep the engine at that post just beyond the pit until the Lone Ranger comes.
Good. Unless he spots that trail, sees where we went around the pit.
Shucks, he won't do that. When he gets that post, he'll see his Indian friend being tortured and come riding hard with eyes on us instead of on the trail.
That's reasonable, I suppose. How about the rattlers?
Well, Burton, I had to change that part some.
What?
Yeah. You see, I managed to trap a mountain lion alive. I figured on trying to get bounty for it. When I seen how vicious the critter was, I thought it'd be better to put that in the bottom of the pit instead of the rattlers.
It's all the same. Don't matter none.
That's the way I figured.
Tonto, bound with strong rope, was carried by Burton's men to a point along the trail that led from Red Bluff to town. There, within sight of the trail, he was tied to the stump of a dead tree. Not far beyond him could be heard the cries of the mountain lion supplied by Tyler, marking the location of the pitfall prepared for the Lone Ranger. We hear the outlaws as they wait for the masked man to appear in search of his companion.
How much longer do you think you'd better wait, Burton?
Guess we waited about long enough. That blame mountain lion down in the pit smells horses.
Yeah, he's downright hungry.
Reckon I'll move back to cover and have a look at him.
Don't you do it.
Why not?
Them critters can leap higher than a man's head. He might get out.
Tyler's right. He's sure making plenty of noise.
Yeah, he's pretty hungry. Oh, by the way,
Well?
I hope you made that pit deep enough.
Sure we did. Took a lot of us all night to dig it.
Big enough for a man and a horse to drop in?
Sure.
Well, Burton, why don't you start on the redskin?
We maybe should wait till we see the Lone Ranger coming along the trail.
Oh, what's the sense in that?
Well, you seem mighty anxious for things to get hot for the redskin, Tyler.
Well, taking part in murder don't appeal to me. I want to get it over with.
Murder?
This is your first murder, too, ain't it, Burton?
Mine?
Sure. I figure you never take the risk of killing a man.
Listen to him, Jordan. That's a good one.
Well, have you?
Tell him about the Parker affair, Burton. Yeah, the law ain't never found out about who done for Jack Parker.
Did you?
Well, I wouldn't admit it to the law, but of course... You covered your tracks pretty slick on that job, boss.
And you must have been the one that knifed Hank Green.
Listen to him.
Oh, but I don't reckon you was. Green was a pretty tough hombre. It'd take a sight of nerve for a man to fight him.
Well, I done it.
You did?
Sure. Someone coming. Take a look. Stand ready with them lashes to handle Tonto with.
That ain't the Lone Ranger. That's my niece.
Your niece?
Yeah. She's heading down the trail. She'll fall into that hole.
Stop her! Right ahead and stop her!
We can't. There ain't none of us near to our horses.
If she drops into that, we'll miss getting the Lone Ranger.
Get for the horses. Hurry. They're behind that tree.
We can't get to them in time. There's the Lone Ranger. He was behind them trees with the horses. How'd you get there?
Ride! Ride, mister! Save Betsy!
He's getting to her.
Thank the good Lord he'll get her.
Look at him travel.
He's got her. He saved Betsy.
All right, Tyler. Now, suppose you tell how he happened to be where he was.
All right, Burton, I will tell. I can tell you now because you talked all you needed to.
What?
The whole thing was staged just to get you to show your hand.
What's that? Keep your gun on, Tyler. There's something funny here.
You won't think it's so funny. We wanted you to show yourself when all your men is murderers. You done that by setting this death trap.
Well?
Then I got you to talking about other murders you done. You see, Burton? Now there's enough on you to hang you.
Yeah, well, ain't that interesting?
Thought I double-crossed the Lone Ranger, huh? Well, it was him and Tonto and me that staged the whole thing for your benefit.
I had the Lone Ranger behind them trees to hear what we said. Ain't no one else back there, boss. No. And when Tonto and Tyler are done for, there ain't no one but the masked men to know what was said there. And we're shooting him as soon as he gets in gun range. Get ready, boys.
Oh, no, you won't.
Why?
Because after you gents finished with that pitfall, the sheriff took it over. And now he's got plenty of evidence against you.
With deputies to back my hand.
What? They've been hid down there to hear the whole thing with ladders to climb out on.
All the rest of that brush aside, boys. We got all we need.
It's the frame up. We've got to shoot our way out. Stand steady. Cover them from behind.
And I've got guns on you from here.
Now, friend, cut rope. Give Tonto gun. You want to? Don't anyone else try to use a gun.
You see, Burton, it's downright foolish to try and beat the Lone Ranger's gun. As for that lion you polecat, that's an old toothless mountain cat that's just as tame as a kitten. But he kept you boys from trying to look in the pit.
We took a bunch and your men with you.
Thanks, Tyler, for helping to trap these men.
Sakes alive, mister. You repaid me in full. You saved Betsy's life.
She's waiting for you beyond the pitfall.
Hi-yo, Silver! Come on, Silver! Press out there, old boy! That looks like a house afire beyond the valley! Hi-yo, Silver! Hooray!
The story you have just heard is a copyrighted feature of the Lone Ranger Incorporated. A fiery horse with the speed of light, a cloud of dust, and a hearty hi-yo Silver, the Lone Ranger. The famous masked rider of justice urges the great horse Silver down a new trail of the Old West to bring us a stirring adventure story of the pioneer days. Listen to those silver-shod hoofs as they race down the hard-packed roadbeds of yesteryear. The Lone Ranger rides again.
Come on, Silver, old boy. That's it, old fellow. It'll be dark before we meet Tonto if we don't hurry. Hi-yo, Silver! Away!
Shortly after nightfall, the Lone Ranger and his faithful Indian companion Tonto were riding toward the town of Osage when the glow of a burning building caught their attention. They immediately urged their mounts in the direction of the flames, hoping to be of help. We see them as they arrive at the scene of the fire.
Oh, there, Silver. Oh, boy. Oh, my fella. Oh, we seem to be the first ones here, Tonto. Come on. We'll go inside. Might be someone trapped there.
Oh, no, you won't. There, fella, behind you. I'm holding a rifle on you.
Who are you?
I'm the owner of this house, that's who.
Is there anyone inside there now?
No.
Where are the others?
Well, safe in town. Now, mind your own business.
Right now, my business is to save what we can from that fire.
I told you to keep out of there.
Do you want everything you own to be destroyed?
Ain't none of your affair. Now keep back or I'll start shooting. I don't want nothing to be saved.
Why not?
If I want my house to burn, by ginger, it'll burn. I don't stand for an outlaw interfering.
I'm not an outlaw.
You're wearing a mask. But you'll get away from here pronto.
I'm not convinced that this house is yours. Now lower that rifle, because I'm going inside before it's too late.
I'll shoot you.
Get him, Tonto.
You got him now. You keep him still.
Rope him, Tonto. We can't take any chances on his getting loose.
Let me fix him. Let me go, I tell you. Let me go.
I'll think about letting you go when I've examined that house.
Him crazy, but Tonto, fix him.
I'll get this rope on him.
Blast you.
This'll hold him. Don't hurt him.
Ain't nothing worth saving. Let me loose. Get you for this. I'll get you.
Watch him, Tonto. I'll take a look inside the house.
Think I'm loco, don't you? Well, I drat these ropes. You keep 'em still, rope, not hurt. I'm warning you, sure as my name is Zeke Salters. When I get these ropes off, I'll show you. I'll learn you two hombres. Ain't nothing in that house. Nothing. You won't find anything in there, I tell you.
Oh, we'll find out.
While the Lone Ranger was making a hurried inspection of the burning house, Nancy Randall, Zeke Salter's ward, was unaware of what had happened. She was in town as guest of the widow Stevens, and we see her on the veranda with Dick, Mrs. Stevens' son.
When you leave for your home by the ocean, will you let your poor darling go too? Or will you leave her alone, unprotected, when you know that she loves only you?
There now, Dick Stevens, I'm not going to sing another thing tonight.
Oh, gosh, Nancy. I could spend the rest of my life listening to you sing. I wish you would come to visit Ma more often.
I was awful surprised when Uncle Zeke let me come this time.
He isn't your real uncle, is he?
No, he sort of adopted me when my folks were killed by Indians.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I wonder what he's got again me, Nancy.
What? Why, nothing, Dick. What makes you think
Oh,
that
yes, he has. You know, this is the first time in months I've had a chance to speak to you without him sitting a couple of yards away.
Oh, silly.
Well, it's the truth. Nancy, this is the first time you've been away from your house for more than half an hour for the past 3 weeks.
I know, but I suppose you can't blame Uncle Zeke for it. He feels it's his duty to take proper care of me.
Well, that don't say he's got to make a prisoner of you.
Oh, he don't do no such thing. He's been mighty good to me all these years.
Sure he has. While he's had charge of all your money.
Well, he has to account for it all.
Wonder if he'll be able to.
What do you mean?
Just that. You're coming of age pretty soon now, ain't you?
Uh-huh.
And when you do, according to your father's will, you'll come into all that money yourself. I wonder if you will, or of Zeke will
Dick
be...
Stevens, you can't hint such things about Uncle Zeke. Oh, he ain't bad when you get to know him.
Well, he ain't very easy to get acquainted with. He's the most unfriendly man I ever knew.
He is not. It was him suggested I come over here to visit your ma.
He did?
Yes, he did. Told me to stay just as long as I was having a good time. That is, unless I wore out my welcome.
No chance of that happening. Say, look over yonder.
Where?
See? Over toward your place. There's a glow over there. Looks like it might be a fire.
But Dick's alive. I wonder if it's...
Hi, there's a fire over yonder.
Dick, I wonder if it is Uncle Zeke's house.
I'll go get some horses. We'll ride over that way and find out.
Hi, Dick. Dick Stevens, where are you?
Here, Sheriff.
Come on, we're riding over towards the south. Looks to be a fire over there.
Maybe it's Uncle Zeke.
Looks to be. Never mind your horse. Lem Purdy's bringing up his buckboard. You can ride on that.
I'm a-going, too.
There's be plenty of room.
Well, come on, Nancy.
Now, pull up there, Lem. Dick and Nancy are riding with you.
Go there. Go. Come on, Dick. Get aboard, Nancy. Looks like your uncle's place is going up in smoke.
I'm a-getting aboard.
Here, Nancy, I'll give you a hand.
There. I'm ready.
Let her go, Lem. Rev up them horses.
Get up there. Get along there. Come on, get up.
Dick and Nancy raced toward the burning house in the wagon, while the others rode ahead. They soon discovered that the flaming building was beyond saving, and as they came nearer, they heard Zeke shouting.
Help me! Over here!
There's Uncle Zeke's house.
Where are you, Zeke?
Over here! Over by the well! I'm Rope! Give me a hand!
Rope! There he is. I see him, Dick.
I'll go get him.
Hold tight. Get me loose.
I got a knife here. Just a second now. There. Your hands are free.
No waste time in talking.
You ain't hurt, are you, Uncle Zeke?
Who done it, Zeke?
Now you're loose.
Who tied you up? What happened?
Blasted robbers. Roped me and left me here.
Robbers?
The same two that set fire to the house. Lucky thing you was in Osage, Nancy.
Well, let me help you to your feet.
Just wait till I catch up with them two.
Your house is done for, Zeke.
Gone. Nancy, my home and yours, burnt by a pair of thieving coyotes.
Well, who were they?
I don't know. They rolled in here and held me up at the point of the guns.
We didn't have anything in the house worth stealing, did we?
No, but I likely figured your money was in there.
But it isn't. It's all invested.
I was so cussed mad about not getting anything. He tied me and threw me by the well and then set fire to our house.
You didn't know it, huh?
Nope. There were strangers around these parts, but I don't know 'em if I ever see 'em again.
What'd they look like?
Well, one of 'em was tall and rode a white horse. He wore a mask.
Mask, huh?
And the other one was an Indian.
Oh, they can't be far from here. We'll organize a posse and hunt them. And when we locate them, they'll pay you plenty for what they've done.
Good. Well, let's get going. I'll ride to town with you, Stevens. We'll get some more men. Nancy, you better stay with Mrs. Stevens for a time.
Yes, Uncle Zeke.
Well, let's get going. Get aboard my wagon. I'll take you. Come on, get aboard.
Several days passed. During the interval, the Lone Ranger had made a number of trips to town, investigating the strange behavior of Zeke Salters. We see him now in the well-concealed camp he shares with Tonto, discussing the situation with his companion.
Everyone's looking for us, so we must be mighty careful not to be seen, Tonto.
Maybe we move plenty quick.
I think we'll be safe enough here.
No.
No?
Feller come here today.
While I was in town?
Who
was it?
Feller from east. Him go to town.
How long ago was that?
Maybe 2 hours. It 4 dark.
Then we'd better do as you say and get on the move.
Got camp ready.
Zeke still insists that we're the ones who set fire to his house.
Why him do that?
Here, Silver. I can't imagine why he'd do it, Tonto. We saw him at the fire, and he wouldn't accept our help.
That's right.
There's something mighty strange about the way he acted. Get the blankets rolled.
Him crazy?
No, he doesn't seem to be crazy. What's more, everyone thinks quite well of him. He's been mighty good to the girl he adopted when Indians killed her parents.
Yeah. Now we ready to move.
Your horse.
Here, white feller. Him all ready to travel.
How did the stranger find the camp?
Him lost in woods.
Oh, came here by accident, huh?
That right. Him from east.
Yes, so you said.
Him no girl.
Nancy Randall?
That's right.
What was his name?
Him name Grant.
Grant?
Huh?
Did you tell him about the fire?
Him pretty much surprised.
Steady there, Silver, old boy.
Him ask if girl alive.
What did you tell him?
Tell him girl in town when fire come.
Well, we're going to find out more about this man named Grant. He may be the key to the situation. Come on, Tonto. Hi-yo, Silver!
The curtain falls on the first act of tonight's Lone Ranger drama. Before the next exciting scenes, please permit us to pause for just a few moments.
Now to continue our story. You will recall that in the first act of tonight's Lone Ranger drama, Zeke Salters not only refused the aid of the masked man and Tonto when his home was burning, but later accused them of having set fire to the building. The Lone Ranger remained in the district to learn the reason for Salters' action, and during the course of his investigation, he discovered that a man from the east was somehow involved in the strange affair. Our next scene opens in the Stevens home. Mrs. Stevens, her son Dick, and Nancy are present.
Uncle Zeke is hard to understand sometimes, but he's really awful good, Dick.
Maybe it's according to how you look at it.
Now, Dick, the only reason Zeke won't let Nancy have a lot of company is because he don't want her to marry till she comes into her own money.
Maybe so, but just the same...
I'll admit, son, Zeke is mighty curious at times, but all the same...
All the same, I don't know what I'd have done if it hadn't been for him. He's been just like a father to me.
He could well afford to be. Ain't he had the handling of all the money you'll come into?
Well, that don't mean anything, Dick. 'Tain't his money.
I can't see why Zeke wouldn't come here and stay till he got his new house built. My sakes, we got more room here than we can
I
use.
suppose he wanted to be closer to the new house he's building.
Likely.
Well, as for me, I'm glad he ain't here. This is the first chance I ever had to really talk with you, Nancy.
Dick, you might be better off hunting them two that fired Zeke's house.
We have hunted, Ma. Gosh, we just about scarred the whole neighborhood, for miles in all directions.
I wonder what they'd do such a thing for.
Do you know, Nancy, it's my notion that they come intending to abduct you.
Oh, Dick, you don't think that?
Yes, sirree. That's the sheriff's notion as well as mine.
And Nancy not being there, they were so hopping mad, they set the house afire.
Yep. And maybe Zeke had some inkling of that and sent you to spend some time with Ma.
Wonder who that be.
I'll go see. Who is it?
It's me, Dick. Zeke Salters.
Come on in.
Uncle Zeke, I'm glad to see you.
Nancy, have any strangers been around here?
Well, no.
Not around here, Zeke.
You ain't seen nothing of no strangers?
Not a thing.
Why? What's the matter, Zeke? You look all head up.
I am.
What's the trouble?
Trouble aplenty. See here, Nancy. If anyone, I don't care who it is, comes here, don't let 'em see you.
But why?
Them's my orders. Dick, well, listen to me.
I'm a-listening. Go ahead, Zeke.
You claim to care something about Nancy.
I do.
All right, then. You pay strict heed to what I tell you. If anyone comes here that you don't know, pull a gun on him and keep him away.
Is there a scheme underway to abduct Nancy?
Maybe so. Yeah, that's it. I reckon they must be. Who's that?
That's Lemma calling to you.
He's riding down here mighty fast, too.
Dick. Here's Deputy. You want in town?
Who, me?
Here, come fast. Come on the run. We got the masked man.
You have?
Yep, the sheriff and 4 other men's holding him and the engine at the point of a gun down in town.
Then you got the one that set fire to our house.
Good work, Lamb.
I'll be right with you. Where's my gun belt?
I don't know where you leave your things, son.
Oh, here it is.
You don't need no horse, Dick. Just down the road a piece.
I won't take no time to get a horse.
I want to see the face of that masked man.
You'll see it. The sheriff's got him and the engine both hogtied.
Let me
You
go.
stay right where you are, Nancy.
But I want
You stay right here. Keep an eye on her, Mrs. Stevens.
I will, Zeke. Hurry, Dick, hurry.
I'm ready. Come on, Zeke. Come on, Lem. Let's get trapped.
Come on, then. We'll go down there.
Where's that masked man? Where's the engine?
We've been waiting for you to identify him, Zeke.
I'll do that right enough.
Can you do it, Zeke?
Well, I should say I can.
Got him in a room right upstairs in the hotel here.
Up these stairs, Zeke.
You got him tied?
I should say we have.
Ain't got loose then, eh?
Not a chance.
Did you take his mask off?
Not yet. We want Zeke to see him with the mask on. That's the way you seen him at the fire, ain't it, Zeke?
Yeah, he had his mask on when I seen him there.
All right, then. You get a look at him with the mask on. Then we'll take it off and see just who the critter is. Here's the room. He come into town as big as life, disguised like an Easterner. But we was wise to what he was doing.
He seen the engine going up to his room.
Open the door.
Here's the sheriff now.
Oh, you make 'em heap big mistake.
I don't reckon we made no mistake, Injun. Take a look, Zeke. Is that the man?
That's him. That's him. That's the engine, too.
I'm not the man you want. You've made a mistake.
Take his mask off.
I'll do that, Sheriff. There. You've made a mistake, men. I tell you I'm not the man you want. I'm not an outlaw. I didn't set fire to anyone's house.
Who are you?
My name is Grant. I never saw this Indian before in my life.
Tell that to the judge.
It's true. I came here and registered in the hotel. I took this room.
Yeah, you figured you could slip in here without that mask and nobody'd recognize you, huh?
I didn't know a thing about the fire until you told me about it tonight, Sheriff.
Then what was the Injun sneaking up the stairs into your room for?
I don't know. He came into my room, held a gun on me, and made me put on this mask and hat. Then you men burst in.
Did you do that, Injun?
That don't mean nothing. Hold these two men here, Sheriff. Put him in jail. That'd be better. Put him in jail until we hang him. I set fire to my house.
I take it your name is Salters.
That's my name, all right. Zeke Salters. And what's it to you?
My name is Grant, and I'm here from the law firm of Grant & Simmons in St. Louis. Does that mean anything to you?
Not a doggone thing.
You got anything more to say, Grant?
I'll save what I have until my trial. I suppose I'll have a trial.
You'll get a trial, all right.
Every man gets a trial before he gets hung. But remember this, Grant, or whatever your name is. Out here we hang men for firing a man's house and home. You savvy?
I'll say no more until my trial.
The sheriff arrested Tonto and the Easterner and took them to jail. But in the meantime, the Lone Ranger rode swiftly to the Stevens place. There he dismounted and entered the building without warning.
My sakes alive.
Please, Mrs. Stevens, don't be alarmed.
The masked man.
What are you doing
Nancy,
here?
I want to speak to you. Please listen to me.
How'd you get away? They had you tied.
No, that was another man who was tied. A man named Grant who came here from St. Louis.
What do you want? You set fire to our house.
You're wrong, Nancy. Everyone believes that. That's why no one will follow through to learn the true story.
What do you mean?
Your uncle set fire to his own house.
That's not true.
Tonto and I were there. We tried to help him save some of the things in the house, but he didn't want us to. There was something in there he wanted destroyed.
No.
You can't come here and hint such things about Zeke Salters.
Tonto will be in jail with Mr. Grant. I want him to learn just why Grant came here. Meanwhile, I want to know what was in that house.
Well, everything we owned.
You have a lot of money in your own name, haven't you?
Yes.
Would Zeke take that money?
We couldn't. He has to give it all over to me with an accountant as soon as I'm of age.
When will that be?
Next week.
As soon as that?
Yes.
That's something to know.
Look here, mister. You can't get away with this sort of high-handed proceeding. You can't come here masked and ask a lot of questions.
Dick
and then...
Stevens will be coming back soon, and you better not be here when he comes.
Listen carefully, Nancy. I did save something from that house in spite of your uncle.
What was it?
I'll tell you after you come of age. We'll see just what Zeke is planning.
There's the man coming back.
Good. Now this man will get caught.
Now you're trapped. You can't get your horse. The men have come.
I'm leaving by the rear door. We'll meet again, Nancy.
Hey, who's that man? What's he doing here?
He went the back way.
Hey,
Stop
get him
him!
here.
Stop
Listen
him!
to this horse.
Get him out.
Cover him. Don't let him get that horse. Stop him.
Come on.
Come on.
The appearance of the masked man created new excitement in town, and for several days posses searched the countryside for the Lone Ranger. But when the day set for the trial arrived, the mystery rider was still missing. We see Zeke Salters, Mrs. Stevens, Dick, and Nancy approaching the courthouse together.
There's old Zeke.
Hi, Zeke. Sit up here in front.
All right. Let's get this trial underway.
I reckon we can all sit here together, Kid Zeke.
Sure. Set yourself down, Widow Stevens.
I'm to.
Reckon it won't take long to get rid of them 2 prisoners.
But, Zeke, if that masked man that come to our place the other night fired your house, then the one that's in jail, Mr. Grant, he can't be the man.
Grant's with the engine, ain't he?
Sure.
All right. There must have been another man come scare Nancy and her ma.
Zeke, there's something I want to ask. Now, next week, Nancy comes of age,
No,
and
she don't.
What?
She don't come of age for another year yet.
Well, Uncle Zeke, I always thought I was to come of
I
age.
ain't said nothing, Nancy, when you been talking of your age. But you're a whole year off.
Order in this court.
Now we'll get the truth.
Quiet there, Zeke.
We come together here figuring to try a couple of men for the burning of Zeke Salter's home. Things have come up, though, that call for something other than a trial. There's things to be cleaned up first. Bring in Mr. Grant. Take the stand. Never mind swearing him in.
What sort of trial is this?
Tell your story, Mr. Grant.
I'm from St. Louis, representing my firm, Grant and Simmons. Some time ago, Zeke Salters adopted Nancy Randall, and he was in charge of the estate left by her father.
Sure I was.
We wrote him several times as the attorneys who prepared James Randall's will. Salters finally replied, refusing to give us satisfactory accounting of the estate.
Ain't none of your business.
That's all for now, Grant. Zeke, did you write Grant and say that Nancy wouldn't come of age for another year?
I did, and it's true.
All right. Now, you can't be called on to give an account until she comes of age, can you?
No. You know blame well I can't.
That's all for now. Miss Nancy, you stand up.
Me?
Yeah. I want to ask you something. Is there any way that you could prove your age?
Well, only Zeke Salter's word, that's all. I always thought I'd come of age next week.
Did you ever read your mother's diary?
I never saw it.
No?
Never was such a thing as far as I know.
Did you ever see your mother's Bible that was said to have been with her things when you was found?
No, I never saw it.
They was in your house, Zeke, wasn't they?
No.
That's curious. I thought they was. They've been half burned by fire. And I've got 'em here, and they prove Nancy Randall's age.
They can't be here. They was burned up.
What's that?
You're trying to frame me.
Hold on, nobody's trying to frame you. If you've been honest, you can account for Nancy's cash right now just as well as you can a year from now. If you ain't been honest, then it's pretty good proof that you set the fire to destroy things that John Grant knowed existed.
Grant set the fire.
Your own words betray you, Zeke. We'll check Nancy Randall's property and see what you've been doing with it.
All right. All right. I'll admit I lost some of it. Maybe you think I stole it. But you won't get me to stand trial.
I got him. Hold him, Dick. That's it.
Looks like we're going to put a different man on trial. Maybe Nancy will be generous with you, Zeke, but by darn, it's going to be up to her.
I don't want him punished. All I want is to run my own affairs from now on.
All right. You'll be of age next week, thanks to the man that saved a few things from fire in spite of Zeke Salter.
Come on there, Silver, old boy. There are vigilantes in Greenville. They'll make trouble if we don't get there soon. Hi-yo, Silver!
The story you have just heard is a copyrighted feature of the Lone Ranger Incorporated.